All right. So, I want to talk about something that was spotted, and this actually turns out was last week, but unfortunately we couldn't have last week's show. It turns out that some years ago, GM was talking about coming out with additional EVs. They had said that when they were cutting the Volt and cutting down their portfolio, that they were going to bring more EVs to the market. And it looks like what is this? An EUV. They're calling it an EUV, and we can only assume that stands for an electric utility vehicle. It's allegedly, we don't know anything about it, right? So this is just a mule that has been driving around and is heavily camouflaged, as you can see from the pictures that Russell's nice enough.
That's not the premier package, Tony?
You know what? I do think that the tarp comes extra.
That's called the custom wrap.
Yes, there it is. None of this highfalutin vinyl. This is
a wrap for your wrap.
Yeah. The thought is that this is built on a very similar, if not the same, Chevy Bolt platform, but in more of a utility vehicle stance. That's it. We don't know anything about it. It does look bulbous. And I don't know that I fully agree with this whole thing of taking a sedan platform and trying to morph it into some sort of utility vehicle that is half sedan, half EV, UV, and 100% non-functional.
That's
Station Wagon 2.0. Station Wagon 2.0.
It kind of is.
No.
But and not even in a good way, because I grew up with a station wagon. At least it was functional, and the seats faced backwards in the back, and that was awesome.
And kids got asphyxiated from the fumes coming in through the window.
I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
Yeah, didn't hurt my brain none.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So yeah, like I said, this is sort of a story that's a non-story. We don't know any details, but it's one of those, give it a year and a half, maybe 2020, 2021, GM is going to show this for real, and we're going to find out what they've been up to after having killed the Volt.
Resident GM expert that follows our show, Eric Stevens, talked a little bit about this particular photo and indicated that the size-wise, and I know Eric himself owns a Bolt EV already. He had indicated that it's not that much bigger than a current Bolt, whatever this thing is. And it's very similar size-wise. When we start saying it's a different type of utility vehicle, size-wise, it really looks the same. So maybe there's some internal components they're using as a mule type system. They're testing other things. So like we said, we don't really have any of the information here, but I thought Eric's comments were interesting, knowing that he does have a Bolt and has driven it for a few years.
Yeah, when you compare it to that Jeep Compass that's running around in the background, or Renegade, Liberty, whatever, the small Jeep that's in the background, you can see what they consider to be a comparable vehicle. And it's fractionally bigger than the Bolt.
Well, and the Renegade, isn't that the one that's like a Fiat 500 with a longer wheelbase?
Yes.
It is. It's the same car.
Is it?
Oh my God. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either.
It's the cheapest four-wheel drive Jeep you can buy.
Right. Mm-hmm. And somebody else, and I don't want to Eric's observation is wonderful. And I completely agree. It really looks like a Bolt. It doesn't look that much bigger. This is sort of that Model 3, Model Y relationship. Mm-hmm. The Model Y, okay, yeah,
but it's got a hatchback instead of a trunk. That will make a huge difference.
Okay. I have been driving the Lexus UX 250H for the last 4 days now, maybe 5.
Is that a complaint?
Yes, it is. Because it's built on the same TNGA platform that my Prius Prime is on. So take a car take the Prius and make a utility vehicle out of it. And you think, that would be an interesting car.
Prius V?
Interesting is an interesting. No, it's not even as good as the Prius V.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Interesting is what you say when you meet someone who faked their Tinder profile. This is not a good car to drive. It's claustrophobic. Wow. Cargo space is non-existent. I make the clip in the video, spoiler alert, and I am so using this clip. I say something to the effect of, I'm not saying there's no legroom in the back seat, but if Forrest Gump owned this car, Captain Dan would be comfortable in the back seat.
Oh man!
Wow.
That's how tiny and petite and unpractical this car really is. The only good thing I can say about the car, I can get 55 miles per gallon out of that hybrid. So it's actually a kick-ass hybrid, and I had to put it in sport mode and gun it today, so it actually has some guts. But functionally, it's not a functional car. So taking something like this built on a Bolt, just a little bigger than a Bolt, and trying to make a functional UV out of it, it's not. And I hate that manufacturers are going this way.
So
I'm kind of speechless you're that upset about it.
So the Volt MP5 I thought was a great concept, and it was a shame that they canceled it. It seems that they could have done that as a pure EV.
There's many things GM could have done, and they have not done it.
Are we going to talk about their financial rumor or no?
Well, that wasn't on the slate, but if we can get to it quickly.
Okay, so there's rumor going around that they want to merge with Ford.
Oh my gosh!
What? Did you just get this rumor?
I'm sorry. Who wants to merge with Ford?
Ford and GM.
Ford and GM are going to merge.
That's what it said. And this came after the Renault and
FCA.
whoever. Yeah, FCA. Fiat.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's probably just something they discussed and then probably threw away, but it came from a reputable source. So I was like, that's interesting.
I'm actually hoping that the Renault thing goes, because I'd love to be able to buy a Zoe here in the United States.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. Yeah. All right. Well,
the Renegade is made by Fiat, I believe.
Yeah.
You're really pushing that Renegade, aren't you?
I'm going to pass on the Renegade, Paul.
Yeah.
I owned one Jeep. That was enough.
Well, at least the real Jeeps were like substantial cars, but the Renegade is literally a Fiat 500. I mean, it's
Get you a Twizy with no doors.
there you go.